In 1967, an international secret agent was cryogenically frozen in case the world ever required his services again. Now, evil is threatening the Earth, and the time has come to bring him back into the 90s.
It's not unusual.
Allow myself to introduce myself.
Danger Powers, personal effects.
Actually, my name is Austin Powers. Danger's my middle name.
I'm gonna need you to sign these release forms.
Okay, name. Sex? Yes, please.
In his time, he was the coolest secret agent alive. Unfortunately,
It's freedom, baby, yeah!
this is not his time. He's a swinger in a square world.
A lot's changed since 1967.
Bring on the sexy stews, man! Yeah!
We're called flight attendants now.
And he's a stranger in a strange land.
This is my mother, Mrs. Exposition.
Lovely.
Austin!
What have you done?
That's not your mother, it's a man, baby! Why won't this wig come off?
Well, now you shake it to the left, you shake it to the right. You're doing the hippie shake.
Judo, judo.
Ow! That really hurt. Who throws a shoe? Honestly.
Mike Myers,
Yeah, baby, yeah!
Elizabeth Hurley,
Don't forget these.
Oh, thanks.
Austin Powers. International man of mystery.
Always wanting to have fun, Austin. That's you in a nutshell.
No, this is me in a nutshell. Help! I'm in a nutshell.
Yeah, baby! Welcome to the Swinging 60s. We're going to talk about the Mike Myers 90s film, Austin Powers. And with me is my guy, Old City Matt.
Yo, what's going on?
Man, the same thing is always going on. I'm going to talk about this movie, Austin Powers, late 90s, Michael Myers. I'll say this. I first watched this when I was like at some camp. You know, just like it was actually wrestling camp at the Naval Academy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And they're like, if you don't want to go swimming, you can just watch like a movie. And the only movie they had was Austin Powers. Now, keep in mind, we're like kids. They just have they have a VHS copy of Austin Powers. And it's like, oh, you know what? I've seen clips of that on TV. I'd like to see the whole thing. So I decide, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch Austin Powers. I watch it. I loved it. And then by the time wrestling camp's over, my parents, because I talked to them, they have like the DVD collection of all free Austin Powers movies.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so I'm watching them. Of course, I had always seen the first two movies. I've seen bits and pieces of them on cable, and I knew what Mini-Me was. You know,
Right.
I was like, wow, he's like a tiny man. That, as a kid, that fascinated me for some reason. He's like small size. What's up with that? But yeah, what about you? Were you obsessed with Austin Powers? Did you watch it a bazillion times like I did?
I didn't watch it a bazillion times, but I definitely love it. Like I watched it when it first came out. I feel like I watched it at home when it came out on VHS. The Spy Who Shagged Me, I'm pretty sure I saw in theaters.
Oh, that awesome. I'm kind of jealous, because
Yeah.
duh.
And then right, yeah. And then Goldmember, I think I saw in theaters too, but Goldmember is definitely like the one I don't like. Like I don't fuck with Goldmember.
It's probably the weakest, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. I like Michael Caine.
Oh yeah, well he's good in everything.
Yeah, he's good in everything. He was good in a movie I had to watch, The Island, and in that movie they shoot a kid straight in the head. It's crazy.
Yeah, wait, The Island with Ewan McGregor and Scarlett Johansson.
Nah, it was from like 1980. Michael Caine and David Warner, from the cartoons.
Oh, okay. Wait, from what?
Cartoons. He was like he was in the Batman cartoon. He was in Freakazoid. He played the Lobe.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, he plays like a pirate, like a yo ho ho pirate in modern
Oh
day
fuck.
that kidnaps Michael Caine. Oh, the movie's actually like it's all like it's trash, but it's like kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like fucking dumb, but like it's cool.
I mean, I heard. Ooh, sorry. I heard that Michael Caine was in Jaws 4.
Yeah,
which
he
is
was.
hilarious.
Oh yeah, he's the best. I don't know. Jaws 4. That's an interesting movie. That I'm eventually going to talk about. But I don't know. You probably remember just the shark looking like shitty. I remember the weird, almost in. Why we shouldn't be getting into this. We have some Austin Powers to talk about.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so I love this movie. I would say I like Mike Myers. He's a Scottish guy like me. As a kid, I loved Fat Bastard. I was obsessed with Fat Bastard. I could do as a little kid, I can do a fantastic Fat Bastard impression. It was so good that I'm scared of doing it now because I just know it won't be as good. But I love Shrek. I can kind of do the Austin Powers. Yeah, baby, Hobie Hive. Do I make you horny, baby? I can kind of do that because I'm like a Scottish guy like him. We have like the same
You're
genetics.
good at that.
Thank you. Thank you. It all comes. My favorite line from the Clerks cartoon is, "Are you sick of Austin Powers impressions?" Yeah, baby. I actually, one of the reasons is I came up with a comedy sketch where it's a trial and a guy has a lawyer and he hires an Austin Powers impersonator to be his lawyer. So he goes like, you can now take the stand. And it'd be like, he goes up to a witness and it's like, all right, be honest, baby. Do I make you horny? And he just keeps,
That's pretty fucking good.
that would just be so funny. It's like,
That's pretty good.
Sir, your client is accused of running a car in a crowd of people, killing at least 5 people. Oh, beehive.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
pretty fucking good.
Yeah. Yeah, I came up with I've been sitting that on a while. That's the real reason we're talking about Austin Powers. So let's actually get into Austin Powers. It's a great movie. Are you recently I have gotten I've watched all the James Bond movies. I'm now obsessed with them. So I like this movie even more because I get all the references, all the all my little. I notice all the Easter eggs, and it makes my brain tick up. But yeah, we get in. Austin Powers. He's in the '60s. He's stopping. It opens up on a scene that's sort of a take off the scene from Russia with Love, where Blofeld, which I don't know if you know this, but you kind of don't, right? Because you've never seen any of the Bond movies.
Yeah.
My first James Bond movie was Die Another Day, which is considered the worst one. Pierce Brosnan, he's my James Bond. In that movie, a Asian guy uses plastic surgery to make himself look like Elon Musk. And then he puts on a power suit and he fights James Bond in a blimp.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
A power suit?
Yeah,
like
he puts
he's
on
got rockets on his boots.
Nah, not like that. Did you watch the Angry Video Game Nerd?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, you remember when he put on that Nintendo Power outfit where he just
with the thing over his eye and the power
he
glove
glued
and
a
shit.
bunch of video game controllers to himself. That's
a
what
guy had that in a James Bond movie.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. It looked like the AVGN power suit. It looked so fucking stupid. And keep in mind, he's an Asian guy that made himself look white. So he has his dad who's Asian, and he's holding his dad, being father, I am your son. And the dad's just like, what?
It has like, you're white.
Yeah, like he turns into a white ginger. Plastic surgery. I actually enjoyed it a lot. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty cool. People just wrong when they say it's bad. But
It
yeah,
sounds like I would also enjoy it.
oh yeah, like you can
Just
enjoy it in the
knowing
sense.
me, yeah.
Yeah.
You know me, like
Oh,
an Asian man getting plastic surgery to turn himself white is just tickles my funny bone.
well,
And then his dad being like, "Who are you?"
wait, you probably don't know this, but did you know that in You Only Live Twice, James Bond does that? He puts on yellow face.
Wait, what?
Yeah. You should check it out because there's
Wait,
like
which James Bond was that? Was that
Sean Connery, you know, the guy that
Okay,
always
that all
speaks
makes
in
that makes
Scottish
sense. 'Cause
accent.
That means it was right. Okay, so that era, yeah, that kind of makes more sense, but that's still hilarious.
But here's the crazy thing. Even like for the time, it's like it's weird because like they basically go like they don't go all in. Like they don't like give him slant eyes and buck teeth and stuff.
Mhm.
They just dye his skin a little bit and give him black hair, and it's just like
What?
there's no point in going half measure on yellow face because you're already doing it. No one's gonna go like, oh, okay, well you didn't add the buck teeth, so I guess we're okay. You didn't make his eyes slanty, only you kind of did.
The eyes, I think the eyes might be the most important part.
Yeah, it's just like, what is the point of not like it's still offensive. Nobody's gonna go like, well, it'd be like, if you put on blackface and you just didn't wear like the fake afro, like no one's gonna go, well, it's not that bad.
Yeah, right. It's
Like, no,
it's
I
not
mean,
that
you're
bad.
still putting the shoe polish on. But we should actually get into James Bond. No, I'm sorry, Austin
I'm
Powers.
listening.
So you have no way. But it starts out, and something that's really interesting about the opening scene, because they're aping Dr. Evil. He's a parody of Blofeld, who is James Bond's arch enemy. Like the archetypical Bond villain is Blofeld.
Mm-hmm.
And something really interesting is, how like Will Ferrell is in this movie?
Yeah.
He pretends to be an Arab guy.
Yes. Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
But what's crazy in this one scene, that guy's not played by Will Ferrell. Like he's talking to the guy, but it's clearly not Will Ferrell.
Like from the back of the head, it's not Will Ferrell.
No, like you can see his face and stuff. I guess they just decided that young Mustafa, which is I think his name, just is played by a different actor. But then in the second film, he is played by Will Ferrell. So it's like it's a weird thing to notice.
You're saying in the first film that character was not Will Ferrell, that Will Ferrell was not in the first film at all?
Well, no, he was, but in this first scene, he is played in this one scene. He's played by a different actor, and then when
That's weird.
yeah, like in the 60s, he's played by a different actor, but then in the 90s is Will Ferrell. But in the second movie, you see him in the 60s and he's played by Will Ferrell. It's just kind of like a weird thing to notice.
Oh, so originally you think they were going for like, okay, this guy's older now because it's 30 years
Yeah,
later.
this is the actual comedy scene.
But then in another movie when he's okay, yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
I get what you're
I guess-
saying. That
I
is
guess-
strange.
Yeah, they didn't really plan on they probably just didn't plan on a sequel happening.
Oh yeah,
But
definitely.
anyway, so the movie has this little musical sequence, and something a lot of people they don't know about Austin Powers isn't so much a parody of James Bond as it is like a throwback to like 60s comedy, but with like the sort of 90s Mike Myers tinge to it. Because I don't know if you knew, but like in the 60s there was like a lot of pop, like there was a lot of like films that ripped off James Bond, and what they would do to get away with just ripping him off, they would call it a comedy. So they'd be like, the character's name would be called like James Tint or something. Like they would just slightly change. Agent 006 is in. It'd be like James Bond in Thunderball, and then it would be Agent 006 in Fireball. But they would be like, no, it's like a parody. It's funny. So they'd make like a cheap spy movie, and they just toss in a couple jokes and be like, see, we're not ripping it off. We're a parody. They did that a lot, which is like kind of funny. But that's where
That is funny.
Yeah, because you probably don't know this. This is a complex, but in the 60s, some other guy owned the rights to Casino Royale. So he had like the legal rights to make a movie based solely off that book and use the James Bond character. But he thought, oh, I don't have enough money to possibly compete with them. So I'll make it a comedy. I'll take the movie, I'll make it a comedy. And it was a complete disaster. I made a lot of money, but complete disaster, critically panned. But an interesting thing is that film did inspire Austin Powers, because the song "Look of Love," I don't know if you ever heard it, but it's like the song if you're gonna do like a parody of like a romantic love scene, that's like the song you would use.
Mm-hmm.
And that song was made for the Casino Royale movie, and they used that in Austin Powers. And actually, that song is what inspired Michael Myers to like make this movie. He heard it on the radio. Yeah. So, and that's an interesting thing, is that the movie is sort of, I guess, it's a goofy movie, but it is kind of about something. It's a little bit about nostalgia and reminiscing about the 60s and stuff like that, and trying to have a little bit of that kind of spirit, which, that's so interesting. But yeah, so Austin Powers, Frozen, unfreezes, Dr. Evil's back. He's got his crew. All of them kind of loosely based off archetypes you see from like the James Bond movies. The lady, she's based off the villain from Russia with Love, and kind of the lady from On Your Majesty's Secret Service. Number 2 is based off Largo. A lot of vagina is based off Pussy Galore.
Oh yeah, that one I did know, because I just feel like I know the name Pussy Galore.
Yeah,
I feel like it's famous.
I don't know if you ever seen the movie. Like when she says that line, when she says the name, like Sean Connery does like a double take to the camera, like, yes, that's her name. Sex.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite.
He can't even
take that name. Well,
it's like he went into the studio.
Yeah.
Not knowing that character's name, and then she said that, and he was like, "Wait, what?"
What? Well, actually, in the movie, he's like, one of the reasons he gets like captured is because he's just so like horny for Pussy Galore.
Oh my god!
Like he's just so like, yeah, like he gets defeated mainly because he's just so like horn up for her. It's like yeah, he's just looking at her like big boobs and just like, yes. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because that's the thing about Pussy Galore. I guess nowadays we'd probably call her like, she has like the MILF type body, like older lady, but like big boobs, blonde hair. And that was probably like the first time anyone had ever, this is like 1963. It's probably the first time anyone has ever seen anything like that. Probably blew his mind.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, so like, what do you think about like Mike Myers' like performance in the movie?
Oh my god, it's classic. It's like a classic performance. It's great.
I love it as well. I love his little teeth. I love his fake chest hair.
Everything about that character was done perfectly.
Perfect. That is what I think of when I think of a British person. Yeah, like when you think of like
the vulgar stereotype.
Yeah. No, that's what they all look. I don't know what you're talking. That's what they all look like. My favorite line from this movie is when he's in the bathroom with the cowboy guy, and the guy's like, "Are you a performer?" No, actually, I'm English. And the guy says, "Oh, sorry about that."
Yeah. That's awesome.
I love that. But Dr. Evil, he's got his crew. He also has a parody of Odd Job called Random Task, which I really love that name. I really thought that character was pretty funny. I wonder what else that actor has gotten up to. Oh wow.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah.
I bet you I bet you he's still doing the things that make him happy.
Uh, says here
Just
he got arrested for rape, and while in jail, he tried to murder his cellmate.
hmm
He's doing what he loves, I guess.
he's doing well. I mean, if he loves rape, then being in prison means he's definitely doing what he loves.
He must love murder too.
Yeah, murder too.
When you really think about it, it made a lot of sense for him to be part of this evil group. I mean, he loves rape, he loves murder. He was a perfect fit,
Mhm.
perfectly cast.
Yes.
It's like it'd be like if you cast, O.J. Simpson was originally supposed to be the Terminator, and that would have been perfect because he's good at doing that in real
Yeah,
life.
he's gonna. Yeah, exactly. He's gonna just murdering.
Murdering.
Yeah.
That's who I'd call up.
Did you ever listen to the Come Town bit about random task? Like Austin Powers and the gang like busting random task out of prison. And he's like it wasn't even a crime yet in the 60s, baby.
But he did it in the
Like-
90s.
Right.
Yeah. That insane. Yeah, what did you think of the lady?
Liz Hurley?
Yeah, I don't know.
Liz Hurley. She was good in it.
Yeah, I mean,
she's like she's the straight man to his foil for
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, she's playing the role.
I hated what they did with her in the Spy Who Shagged Me though. I hated that like the reveal at the beginning of that movie was that she was one of the fembots.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird that it like happened. I mean, it's just a result of like making a movie, thinking it's going to be a one-off, and then being like, well, actually, we're making a sequel. So
Mhm.
they probably just couldn't get the actress, or thought it would like work better if
Right.
they did that. I mean, I love Fat Bastard. I love Mini Me, so I can't complain.
Oh yeah, I like the Spy Who Shagged Me, but
Yeah.
like I hated that one thing in the beginning where they were like,
Yeah.
oh, she was a fembot.
I wasn't really
like-
I wasn't really a fan of that choice either. I'm a little bit, but they unfreeze Austin Powers. I just love everything about the character, and I would say he's a goofy character, but he's also like actually a secret agent. I never think, oh wow, this guy's a complete idiot. He can't stop. He's like, oh, he can't do anything. It's like, nah, not quite. It's not terrible. I can buy this guy beating Dr. Evil.
Right.
Yeah.
All he has to do is judo chop, and then yeah.
Yeah, that's a funny gag how he just puts like judo in front of like every action he
Yeah.
does. Like judo toss, judo
Yeah.
grab. I really
And then it's like the thing that fixes the fight.
yeah.
Like that makes him win the fight.
Yeah, it is just like sometimes even that happened in the James Bond movies. Like he just like judo chop a guy and they'd fall down.
Oh yeah, I guess I could see that in some of those movies.
Oh yeah, there's a scene where in one of them, Roger Moore, he was James Bond, he gets forced into a karate tournament, and it like the way they decide to this is too much of a tangent, but the way they decide to kill James Bond is they're going to put him in a karate tournament, and then eventually he'll, I guess, die from fighting people. But what they do is they set him up with the white belts first. So like basically teenagers that barely know
Yeah,
karate.
so they let him work his way through a bunch of kids
Yeah, he
who
beats up
have
it's
no
like,
chance at beating him.
after James Bond fights all these children, he'll eventually get to the real fighters. Why not just start with the real fighters? You have trained killers,
Yeah.
and then you just have some guy. Why not just use the trained killer first?
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
Instead of a
elaborate.
bunch of teenagers.
Yeah, elaborate death scene. I'm a little bit up in the air. Let's see. I like the look of the film. I think the film does a good job at kind of having that '60s style. Mike Myers, he wrote it, he produced it. He was probably like really hands-on with those aspects. But Dr. Evil, he's got a plan. He kills Will Ferrell, and then they're just going to steal nuclear weapons, which is a thing that happens a lot in the James Bond movies. A lot of the plots are just, someone has a nuke, or they're trying to like trick Russia and the United States into nuking each other. That happens a lot in those movies.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very like repetitive.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew that was like the plot of most of the movies.
Yeah, just
Like
they
Cold War shit.
Yeah, they stole a missile. They stole another missile. Get it back. Yeah.
That's right.
My favorite part of the James Bond movies, a lot of times those movies end on like James Bond having sex with a girl, but then MI6 is like calling in, and they always like call in like while he's having sex with the girl, and they go, "What? 007? What are you doing to that woman?" And it's just like, after like the third time, you think they'd like stop being shocked by it. I like to imagine
Right.
I like to imagine it happens all the time. Like Q, he's like walking down the street. He walks into a bakery, and he sees 007 like banging the baker, filling her pastries. He's like, "Oh, really now, 007? Really?
Yeah.
I was
00.
going to eat off that."
Yeah.
Well, so am I.
Oh, I'm eating off of it too.
Yeah. The unfreeze os. Yeah, I forgot to write some of my notes, so I'm a little bit more up in the air.
Oh, okay. We're on the unfreezing part and how great that is when he's peeing.
Oh yeah, that's actually a parody of Dr. No. Well, I mean, not the peeing part, that didn't happen.
Just the freezing.
Well, no, like how they're like in Dr. No, they have like this decontamination sequence that they make James Bond go to because Dr. No has like a secret lab.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's basically built just like the defreezing stuff. So that's like where it's like a riff on. And then, this part really bothered me for some reason, the Swedish penis pump scene.
I think that's the funniest part of the movie.
Yeah. Well, my thing.
That's my favorite. That whole thing is my favorite scene in the movie.
Oh, I like it, but it bothers me because the movie tells us Austin Powers, he's like really good at sex. He's really charming. He's really good at fucking chicks. But then they tell us, oh, actually, he has this Swedish penis pump. So you're telling me this guy, he's basically like a fraud. He wasn't born with a huge dick. The Swedes gave him one later on in life.
Yeah.
But I do like it. I do like the little book where the tag is, "This kind of thing is my bag, baby."
Well, maybe, excuse me, maybe he has like a normal sized penis and he's good at fucking, and he just uses the penis pump to like just have
Get a
fun,
couple more
like
inches.
have that extra, have that couple like that extra fun sometimes.
Like he's basically like the tiniest. He's the tiniest bit away from like having what we would call a huge dick. Like,
right. Like it's like some people can just like go out and party and just have a good time, but some people need some cocaine sometimes. It's like,
it's kind of like a guy who's like a centimeter away from being 6 foot. And he's just like, I just need that little boost. And then I'd be good. I'd be golden. That probably is the case. And you changed me on the Swedish penis pump scene.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I think it's just an accessory that's meant to to accessorize.
I really like the bit they use later where they're like unpacking in Vegas, and Austin, he's got his tiny little gun, and then the girl has that big Desert Eagle, and then it cuts back to him, and he's like holding the Swedish penis pump. I really like that bit. He's like a little bit like, ooh.
Yeah.
I really like that bit. Of course, that taking place in Vegas is also a reference to a James Bond movie, Diamonds Are Forever. That movie has two gay assassins that work for the bad guy. Yeah,
That's
they
awesome.
actually. You ever watch?
Are
Cody?
they together?
They never. It's like the early '70s, so they never say it, but it's implied they are gay, and how they die is they get set on fire.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, one guy gets set on
No.
fire, and then the other guy, I think, gets like a bomb shoved up his butt, like something butt related
Jesus
kills
Christ.
him. Yeah,
That's
boy.
amazing.
That
I'm
is
gonna
amazing.
watch all the James Bond movies as soon as we're done talking.
There's like,
They sound funnier than Austin Powers. Holy shit!
I mean, some of them do have like their funny moments, like View to a Kill. That movie, Christopher Walken is like pretty fun in that one. It's like like as a movie it kind of sucks, but like if you just enjoy Christopher Walken, you'll like that movie. It's fun because of that. It's fun because it's kind of bad. But yeah, in in Diamonds Are Forever, there's a character whose name is like Plenty O'Toole. And do you know why she's called Plenty O'Toole?
Because he carries tools around. I don't know.
Nah, because she's got big boobs. That's why she's called Plenty. Because she has.
It's a chick. Okay.
Yeah, Plenty O'Toole. And she's called that because she goes, "My name's Plenty O'Toole," and then James Bond just like stares at her tits. It's like, yes, sex joke.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. One of my favorite parts is when like a character has such a stupid name that like James Bond just has to like look at the camera and be like, yes, sex. I actually came up with a Bond girl name. You want to hear it?
Yes, definitely.
Virginia Tight.
Instead of Virginia Slim.
Like I just imagine.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's just like, yes, sex. Yeah, so they're at the casino. Typical Bond scene happens in every movie, but well, I'm getting so sidetracked by all the stupid stuff that shows up in James Bond.
Oh, it's all right.
Films. So
in the casino scene, doesn't he lose?
Yeah, that scene is so funny because
yeah.
yeah, they're like playing blackjack. I don't know the exact rules, but I think you got to get 21. I might be wrong.
Right. Yeah, I think that's blackjack.
But like number 2 gets 21.
Right.
And then Austin Powers gets 5. And he's like, "I'll stay." It's like, "Sir, you only have 5."
Right. Yeah.
And he's like, "I also like to live dangerously."
Dangerously, yeah.
And then he loses.
And he's just like, he's just being stupid. And he's like, "I also like to live dangerously." I remember
like no one would be, but so we mentioned Casino Royale. Like some guy had a rights to that movie, so he could it wasn't part of the official James Bond lineup, but legally, like they use the name James Bond. It's officially in a James Bond film.
Oh wow,
that happened again in the 1980s. Only this time is like a really big deal because they actually got Sean Connery to come back and play James Bond, and they do instead of them playing cards, because it's the 80s. James Bond is like in this mansion, and there's a room filled with arcade games, because it's like the 80s. That's the brand new thing. Video games, arcades, Pac-Man, Centipede. So instead of playing cards against Largo, he plays a video game against him.
That's awesome.
That it's so great because Sean Connery's like a fucking old man who doesn't he's just like, yeah.
Well, do you remember what game they played? Was it
it's made up. It's like made up.
Okay.
But like it kind of does look like a video game, but it does that thing where it's like if you get hurt in the game, you get hurt for real.
Oh god.
Yeah, like they're holding like little controllers and they shock them when they like lose. And it's
Jesus Christ.
It's so stupid. But it's like
I need to see these movies.
A lot of stupid stuff does just happen in them. They have one. Yeah, I mean, maybe one day we'll watch them. I love them. I think they're great. But part of why I love them It's because there's like stupid stuff. In one of them, he fights Chris, like, because they are kind of silly. Like, let me break down the let me break down the big James Bond villains. Okay, there's Odd Job, who's a Korean guy that throws a hat.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's who. That's who.
That's who
Random
the
Task
rapist guy is based off of.
Yeah.
Then they have Nick Knack, who's a midget.
I guess that's Mini Me.
Yeah, Mini Me's probably based off Nick Knack. That makes sense. I just connected that now. Then they
Fucking
have
Knick-Knack.
Then they have Jaws, who's a guy with metal teeth.
Okay. Yeah. That
And
that one I know. That one's
these
like
are
a
the
famous
big
one.
these are the big James Bond villains. It's kind of silly,
Yeah.
but I kind of
There's Goldfinger, right? And he has like an actual Goldfinger.
No, you're thinking of Gold Member from Austin Powers 3, who actually has like a gold penis or something.
Right, but wasn't there a James Bond villain called Goldfinger?
Yeah,
Wasn't that
but
the
he
name of
didn't
one of the
have
movies? Yeah.
he didn't have a gold finger. You know what's weird?
Oh.
There's a James Bond villain that has free nipples, and they never did a parody of that in any of the Austin Powers movies.
What? Why is it explained in the movie why he has 3 nipples, or does he just have 3 nipples?
It's like a birth defect thing.
Right, but I'm saying, is it a thing where like in the movie they explain it, or you just see him with 3 nipples and it's never touched on?
Oh yeah, no, it's like explained. He's played by Christopher Lee,
okay.
who in real life just has 2 nipples.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's like, yeah, it's weird they wouldn't parody that, because that seems like a thing. Oh, you have a girl with like free boobs, or you have a guy with 2 dicks or something.
Right. Yeah.
That would be
That would be Austin Powers.
Yeah, that would be such a good idea. If Austin Powers 4 ever comes out, I mean, it's probably going to be the worst thing ever, but like they should definitely have like the big bad guy be a guy with like 2 penises.
Yeah.
that would be my idea for Austin Powers 4.
Right. A guy with 2 dicks.
Yeah, so Austin Powers, he meets the Texas man that feels pity that he's born on the islands. And then he goes in there's that scene where the guy tries to kill him, and it seems like he's taking like a big shit.
Yeah. Holy shit, man! What did you eat? Yeah. That was Tom Arnold, right?
It was?
Yeah, that was Tom Arnold, the cowboy. Yeah.
Damn, I should have looked into more things more. I just have all this vague stuff. I think at this point in the movie, isn't this where Scott shows up?
That's around there, or like
Yeah,
early. I think that's before the guy tries to kill him for sure.
It might be. What did you think of Scott?
Oh, I love Scott. Yeah,
Yeah.
Scott's great. And in the first movie, Scott is great. Let me clarify.
Yeah.
But yeah, that part towards the end when he's like, this is your plan? You're just gonna let them go in that room and like you could kill them right now.
Yeah.
You can kill them right. The part where he's like, listen, I have a gun in my room. We could kill them right now. It'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be a father-son bonding time. Let's
It'll be
do it.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good moment. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like Scott in the first one.
Yeah, you almost just called him by his name.
Seth Green, yeah.
Yeah, I liked Seth Green, and yeah, he was good in this movie. The other movies not so much, but
Yeah.
I also found just the compared to the other characters, I found that assassin guy to be kind of weak, because it's like, oh, it's like Lucky Charms, and it's just, you get the second movie, you got Fat Bastard,
Right.
and it's just like he blows this guy out of the fucking water.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
definitely.
he's-
Fat Bastard was definitely a bigger character, literally, figuratively.
Oh, and a lot. Because I wouldn't stop. Like, no one does impressions of that Irish guy, but
Right.
I've done impressions of Fat Bastard until my mom got angry at me. So, yeah, that was like the coolest thing. That was the coolest thing to do in 1999, 2000. It'd be like, get
Right,
in me
yeah.
belly.
Get in my belly.
Yeah,
that's
my
right.
first exposure to that is my uncle. He's like really tall and like kind of fat. So he would say that as a kid. He would like pick me up and like shake me and be like, get in me belly. Yeah. Yeah, so Austin Powers meets a lot of vagina. You know, that's a normal name. Parody of Pussy
Yeah.
Galore. Oh. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, so they have their little Austin Powers and Vanessa have their little get together where they start to like bond and like develop and get along and stuff. And
Right.
that's nice because like I said, you know, it's also about like nostalgia and that kind of 60s spirit or whatever. You know, it's not it's not as funny as all the other stuff. Oh my god. I just realized I'm an idiot. We didn't talk about the most quoted we didn't talk about the $1 million.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where he goes like
$1 million.
$1 million. Hey, do you know who that's like a parody of?
No.
The voice he does, that's an impression of Lorne Michaels, the guy that's like in charge of SNL.
What?
Yeah, that's like how he talks. That's how Lorne Michaels talks.
Lorne Michaels in real life sounds like Dr. Evil.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's how he talks. Because he's like
Hello, it's me, Lorne Michaels.
that. Yeah, interesting thing. You ever see the Kids in the Hall movie Brain Candy?
No, I haven't.
Well, the big business guy, he
Mhm.
talks. He talks like that, like he's doing a Lorne Michaels impression.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, Don.
Didn't we say good morning yesterday, Marv?
Yeah, I guess we did, Don.
Don, how did the board of directors meeting go?
Can I have the room for a minute?
Everybody out.
My empire is crumbling! Right, everyone back in?
And it's like pretty good. And the funny thing is, by the end of the movie, he's wearing like an outfit similar to what Dr. Evil is wearing. Like weird coincidence. But it's like a good. I think that impression might actually be, if we're talking about who more actively like resembles being like Lorne Michaels, probably Mark McKinney from Brain Candy, because he does this thing where in one scene he like gets angry because he's always talking like yes, but then he gets like angry and then he just starts like, and then for one scene he's like British as heart. No, I don't think I'll fuck off. And it's just like, yeah, I'd have to imagine, because I think Lorne Michaels lived in England or whatever. So I assume occasionally that accent just boils over if he gets angry.
Right.
That would be funny. Yeah, but $1 million. I love. Yeah, and then they have to explain to him that's not a lot of money anymore.
Yeah.
You should ask for more money. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I'm blanking. Yeah, but then he goes. I think Austin Powers. He goes to a lot of vaginas place, and they they have sex or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's where they play the song "Look of Love," where she's like stripping.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, interesting thing. When I first saw this, they made us skip over this scene because it was like, oh no, this is like sex. No, everything else before this, fine.
Yeah,
All the times, like Austin Powers walked around naked, and like his like penis was covered by a sausage. That's fine. But this sex scene, nah. Nope, kids, you can't watch this one.
Right.
It's like, yeah. Did you notice that like, this might be mean, but did you notice that like when she's in the hot tub? Because I watched it like this morning. You notice how it seems like her boobs are kind of like floating a bit?
Yeah.
Do you think Do you think they're implants? Because this was like the 90s. They haven't really perfected. They exist, but they haven't really perfected those yet.
Well, I'm sure the joke was that they're implants.
That would be funny, yeah.
Because like, why else would they? I mean, I'm sure boobs float, but I don't think they float like that high.
Yeah, I don't know. I was only
I don't know how the physics work, but I'm sure that like
Yeah.
they don't float to that degree unless
Yeah,
they're fake.
I always pay attention. I don't know. Did you ever see James Cameron's Avatar?
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah. Well, I saw that. I was like 12 or whatever. I spent the whole movie looking at the blue cat lady or whatever, the alien. Like, you know, because she's not wearing clothes. She's just
I was
has
trying to
those-
see if her fucking cat tits were real.
Yeah, trying to see if I could like see her nipple. And I swear to God, in one scene, I swear to God, I did. And when I saw it, and when I saw it, I busted out like laughing, like, "Oh, look!" And like so many people were kind of looking at me. It was like, "What is this kid laughing at?"
Yeah,
'Cause
and by
this
the
was,
time
like-
they turned around, it was gone.
Yeah, because this was like during like right before they were supposed to start like the big action scene or whatever. And there's a scene where she just kind of gets down on the ground, and I can swear, I swear, you can see some of her
nipple?
blue nipple. You know, because I knew what color blue it would be. So I was the whole movie. I was intensely looking at that, just waiting for that moment. And I swear it happened during that. And that's the only thing I remember from Avatar.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, come on. Like you're sitting there. It's like, oh man, I might see boobs. Like, oh, I don't know. Some
I mean-
bullshit about the environment. Who cares?
Right.
Fuck-
to be
fuck the
fair,
trees.
Avatar sucks. So
Kind of suck. Yeah. Like who
so if
cares
I
about
was-
the tree? Yeah. Who cares about
Yeah,
the
so
trees?
Sorry, I think I cut you off. What'd you say?
Who cares about the trees? I want to see these aliens' tits.
Right. Yeah. Fuck nature.
Yeah, I know a guy who he knows a lot about he knows all the aliens from Jabba's palace because he heard a rumor that the green lady, you could see some of her boob. Yeah, I mean, who cares? Oh, Han Solo's frozen. Who cares?
Right.
I want to
Yeah.
see
There's
that green titty.
there's alien tits in this.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you know how like you can have insane levels of violence in a kid's cartoon as long as like instead of blood you use like
It's yeah.
some substitute. It's kind of like that
Right,
with nudity.
yeah.
It's like, oh well, it's blue, so I guess it doesn't count. But it's like, trust me, it counts to me. But anyway, you know, she says a line that like in Japan, men come first, women come second. Did you know that's actual dialogue from one of the James Bond movies?
What movie is that from?
You only live twice. It's said by a Japanese guy in a bath,
wow.
kind of like this scene. It's like, yes, men come first, women come second, and whatever. And he's like, it's written by like that one is written by the guy that did Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Roald Dahl. So it's like vaguely racist against Japanese. Like this, there's a character.
Wait. Roald Dahl wrote part of a James Bond movie
Yeah, he wrote like the script.
for just that one.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I know. That's the one that has the scene where he, you know, they're gonna sneak him onto an island, so they have to use surgery to make him look Japanese.
That's that movie.
Yeah,
I need to. This is You Only Live Twice. Okay, that's the first one I'm seeing.
yeah. Don,
Holy
yeah.
shit!
Oh yeah.
I need to see this movie.
Yeah.
I need to see this. Oh my god, I watched them all, but
Yeah.
You Only Live Twice. I need to fucking watch. The fact that Roald Dahl wrote that.
Yeah. You know, I don't get like. I mean, I can identify. I don't get upset at racism, but like, I know. It
Oh,
when
I don't
see
either.
it, you know, it's like, yeah, it's weird. It's kind of like weird. There's like weird thing with Japanese people where the Japanese guy is like, look at my superior hairless body.
That's
Actual dialogue.
insane.
Yeah, so then, you know, Austin Powers, he shags a lot of
Yeah.
vagina. That's a weird name when you think about it.
A lot of vagina.
Well, yeah, because, like, how do you visually convey the idea that this woman has a nice vagina?
I guess because she was shagadelic and Austin got his rocks off.
Yeah, why not give her big boobs and like?
Didn't they give her big boobs?
Yeah, they did. You got me. I'm a phony film historian. I don't know anything. I'm not a cinephile at all. I don't know anything about these women's tits.
That's right. No, I'm kidding.
Let's see. One of my favorite scenes is when all the MI6 people show up and Austin Powers punches that old lady in the face.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, Austin, here's my mother. That's not your mom. That's a man.
That's a man, baby.
He punches him right in the face. And
he's like, well, you have to admit she does look rather mannish.
Yeah, she was hit with the ugly stick.
Yeah, God, yeah. And he's like, Austin, that's my mother.
And I like when he says, two things scab me: nuclear war. What's the other thing? Carny folk. And it's like that actually.
Circus folks smell like cabbage.
I love that joke because that is something that like a fancy British guy from the 60s probably would say. It's like, yeah, these like, I just imagine the scum tongue carny people. Did you know?
From like the 19th century.
Yeah, I mean, think about it, right? He has ugly teeth. Imagine their teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Probably looks like a piranha's mouth.
Right.
Oh, another James Bond. Did you another James Bond tangent, but in Octopussy, which is the name, which has one of the one of the funniest lines you'll ever hear is in that movie where, James Bond, he's banging a girl and she sees like this tattoo she has and she goes, "Oh, that's my little octopussy."
What the fuck?
Yeah, they clearly can't.
Who wrote this?
Who did? But did you know that movie involves a criminal circus?
What the?
Yeah.
In a James Bond movie?
Yeah. What happens is it's the criminals. They're like thieves and whatever, and they use their circus as like cover to like smuggle jewels and stuff.
That's okay. So it wasn't like an international plot to do whatever. It's like,
well, I mean, they're like helping a guy steal like a bomb or something, but mainly they're just stealing jewels. Yeah, it's kind of a weird movie. But the climax of that movie, James Bond is at the circus and he's disguised himself as a clown.
oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, he's running. No, it's actually kind of fun. He's running around in a clown outfit, trying to warn people about a bomb going off, but nobody believes him because he's a clown. They think he's part of the act.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually kind of fun, because you got to remember, this is like they made one like basically every year from like 1962 to like 1983. So you reach a point where it's like you kind of appreciate the goofy clown coming out,
Yeah. Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah. Let's see. What's our next? Gosh, he punches the old lady, and then they figure out what Dr. Evil's plan is. He's going to drill. He's got a drill, and he's going to drill in. So they got to go to his company, and this is actually some pretty neat foreshadowing. Wow. So Austin Powers, he's wearing a disguise, right? Do you remember what it is?
Oh, God.
Well, I'll just say it. He's dressed like a spiritual Indian guy, which Mike Myers would then make the god-awful, terrible love guru. So this is kind of a foreshadowing for the horrors to come.
Yeah.
Did you see?
I did not see the Love Guru, but I heard it was so bad.
You got it. Like I said, I'm obsessed with Austin Powers. So when I hear there's another Mike Myers movie coming out, I'm fucking stoked. I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be so funny. This is gonna be so cool. They got the little midget in it.
Yeah.
This is gonna be awesome. And then I watch it, and it's so fucking unfunny, and it's so fucking stupid. I hated every minute of it.
I believe that.
It's fucking cancer.
God.
Yeah. So then they break in. Oh wow. Yeah, they break in, and I don't know. They get caught somehow. I kind of forget. Yeah, but
I can't remember. I can't remember how they got caught either.
Yeah, I guess they just kind of did. But there's that funny scene where they're on the roller, and it's like, get out of the way, and he's going like
Oh
so
yeah,
slow,
yeah. He's going like a fucking half a mile,
and
an
everyone's
hour.
acting like they're going so fast. And there's that
Mhm.
one guy who goes, no, and the thing's
Yeah,
like
that was Michael McDonald
who?
from Mad TV.
Oh, geez, I'm not that familiar with Mad TV.
Yeah, that guy, that security guard dude was the guy that played him was Michael McDonald. He was like one of the most well known like Mad TV cast members. He was hilarious.
Man. Yeah, I have weird like I know Kids in the Hall, but
Yeah,
I don't know I
that's
don't know
alright.
most of Mad TV.
Yeah,
I know I've never watched SNL, but I know a lot about that animated like series they had.
TV Funhouse.
Yeah, with the Mr. T parody and stuff.
Yeah.
Don't do milk.
Oh yeah, and they have the ambiguously gay duo that was there.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Classic.
So anyway, yeah, Michael McDonald and the steamroller, and then the sharks. What's next? The sharks with the lasers. on
Yeah,
their
they're
head.
sitting at dinner, which is actually that actually happens in Doctor No, where Doctor No like makes James Bond and this girl put on like weird future people clothes, and then they have dinner, and he shows them. This is how Doctor No. He shows them that he has robot hands, which he never uses. Like you think he's going to use his robot hands to try to crush James Bond, but it never happens. And then he explains one of the reasons he wants to cause chaos is because he lived in China, but he was only half Chinese, and everyone picked on him for it. It's kind of silly.
Oh my god.
The movie's called Dr. No. He doesn't show up until like the last 20 minutes. Most of it is just James Bond goofing around on an island fighting a goofy like assassin group. It's so weird. For the first film, you kind of wonder how it became a mega hit. So yeah, that classic scene where Scott comes in, he's like, "Why don't you just shoot him? I gotta kill him. Like why are we doing this? Let's just kill him and be over with it." It's like, Scott, ship it. It's like, well, you just gonna like let him put him in a death trap and hope he dies? Yeah, I'm gonna assume it goes according to plan, Scott. Zip it.
Yeah.
How about you rock the vote? Yeah, and it's like they find out that he can't have sharks, so he has sea bass.
Yes, sea bass with lasers on their heads.
I like when they're being lowered into the sea bass place. You can tell that like someone's just off camera tossing the fish at them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way they like just like, oh, just to toss it.
And they're just like pretending to dodge them.
Yeah, that is
Like they're just dodging stiff props of fish.
Yeah, sometimes this movie looks like pretty good, but sometimes it looks cheap. But sometimes you assume maybe that's like intentional.
Oh, it's definitely intentional.
Yeah, I do think there's probably like scenes where they use computer stuff and the tech just ain't there. Do you remember?
Oh, I'm sure.
Like the Big Boy thing where you see the cat in the window.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that shit looks like something you'd see like in a PS2 like cutscene texture or something. It looks pretty bad. They were Rockstar Games of Grand Theft Auto were making an Austin Powers game. It was going to be a Mario Kart type racer. Yeah, looks like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh no, the cat scene looks pretty bad. But yeah, they were gonna make an Austin Powers kart racer.
Shit.
Let's see. They. Yeah, Dr. Evil calls the UN. He does their $1 million. I can't do the voice. I used to kind of be able to do it. You can do it, right?
$1 million.
Yeah. I've lost it. I'm just too. I've done it. I used to kind of be able to do it as a kid, but I'm scared to try now. $1 million. How about a million? Oh, that's bad. So bad. I hate it. I can kind of do Austin Powers, but that's about it. Yeah, and then he does the remote thing. It cuts to Beavis and Butthead, which is pretty fun to see.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, just so we know that the movie's in the 90s. Yeah.
That place is that's the time capsule.
Well, I mean, it's a good way to be time capsule. Time capsule. Yeah, fine. I'll say that's how you say it. Time capsule.
Yeah, time capsule.
Time
yes.
capsule. It's like, what are you gonna do? Let's see. Austin Powers is in the. I like when the guy gets his like head chopped off by the fish or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's a little bit violent. It's a little bit brutal. That's a thing. Because it's like the only time in this movie you actually see like real violence.
Right. Yeah. It's not they're not violent movies.
Yeah, but that's actually kind of a weird. That's kind of a throwback to some of those films where, like, did you see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
No, I haven't.
Oh man. Well, there's this movie from the 60s, which that movie references a lot. They have little references to it because Shannon Tate was in it, called the Silencers. Dean Martin, he's doing, it's like a James Bond spoof. And the movie is like shockingly violent, like more violent than any of the James Bond movies for the most part. Like,
wow.
Yeah, because Dean Martin's like shooting people with a machine gun, and it's like pretty violent. Like you see like the blood splatter and stuff because he has this gadget where it's a gun that shoots like backwards. So if a guy ever grabs his gun, tries to shoot him, they'll get shot. So, you see a guy try to do that. And you see a bullet hole come out of his back, right? Which that's how bullets actually work in like real life. Typically in movies, they do a thing where it's like you see a person get shot and you see what happens with the exit wound where it should be an entrance wound. So it's
that's a movie thing.
This goofy comedy for some reason has like incredibly realistic violence because of that, and it's just so weird because so much of the movie is Dean Martin walking around drunk being like, hey, how you do? And
that's really it's funny that it's a Dean Martin movie that's brutally violent.
Yeah. Well,
it's fucking it's Dean Martin. Like what?
Yeah, so guy gets his head fucked up. I really like how they're driving that little like cart, and then they get to like just some minor barricade, and they're like, "Oh, what are we gonna do now?" Because there's this little road bump stopping them from driving this more.
Right? Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and then she gets out, and Austin stays, and that's when he encounters the woman with the machine gun boobs. Now I remember
the fembots.
I remember this scene from when I was a kid. Like it's one of the first. Like I'd only seen that one scene from that movie, for like the longest time, but it just stuck in my head. I guess I found it sexually arousing.
Oh, I mean, yeah, probably.
Yeah,
I mean they are
like,
hot.
Yeah, they got their big boobs and whatever, and it's like they shake them around, and it's just like, yeah, this is good. This, that was probably my sexual awakening. I realized it's like, what do I like?
I could see Austin Powers as like a sexual awakening.
Yeah, you realize, oh yeah, these big boobs, yeah, these are pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I sure would like to touch them.
Right.
I
sure would like to get shot by them.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind dying that way. You know what's crazy?
Definitely not.
In GoldenEye, which only came out a year or so before Austin Powers, there was a
Mhm.
character. They actually, you know how in Spy Who Shagged Me, there's a character called I Wanna Hump a Lot.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
well that character is based off one of the one of the villains from GoldenEye, and you know what her name is?
I wanna fuck a lot.
No, her name is Xena Onatop.
It's what? Is he?
Xena Onatop. You don't
I'm
get
trying
it?
to figure out the pun. No, I'm trying to figure the pun out in that one.
Onatop.
On a top. Oh, Xena on a top. Okay,
Yeah,
on
on
top.
top of
Yeah.
you, riding you.
Yes, I get it.
Yeah, her deal is she gets sexually aroused by killing and violence. So how she likes to kill men is she likes to have sex with them, and then this is really cool. She likes to basically crush their neck with her thighs.
Oh shit. Okay, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, no, it's really cool because she's like having sex with this guy, and then like she kills him right as he's like coming, and then James Bond finds his dead body, and the guy has like the biggest smile ever.
Ha! That's awesome.
Yeah, she tries to do that with like James Bond too, like crush his neck with her wonderful thick thighs. No,
That's amazing.
best character, one of the best characters. You know, like she tries to kill James Bond, but at the same time, like she's like riding him.
Mm-hmm.
It's like real best villain, underrated character. That's how I would want to die.
That's a great way to die.
Yeah. Yeah, good character, good scene from a completely unrelated movie.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So Austin Powers, he uses his sexuality, he uses his mojo
To destroy them.
to make all these. I found that scene really funny. You know, he's playing like the "Touch Myself" music. He's doing that goofy stuff. Do you know why Austin Powers has all that body hair?
Because it's supposed to be like sexy.
No, that's
Or
actually a
fake.
reference. That's actually a reference to Sean Connery, who like was like super hairy,
Oh yeah, he is very hairy.
very hairy guy.
Mhm.
I love very. It's actually impressive how like it's impressive how Connery had like a career and was able to be a sex symbol where he was like super hairy chest, always had his Scottish accent, even when he's playing an Arab.
Right.
It's just power through it, you know. You put all your points
Right.
in charisma. Anyway, yeah. So they have a fun little action scene where it's like playing Secret Agent Man, and they're shooting up all the bad guys. Doctor Evil's outfit. That's what Doctor No wears at the end of the movie. Another little reference, you know, a little reference, but it's never outright. I wouldn't call this film an outright parody. I think when Daniel Craig on the set of Casino Royale, he would say, "We're not fucking making Austin Powers. We're not fucking making Austin Powers." It's like
he
I
actually
don't-
said that.
yeah, yeah. He said,
Wow.
yeah, he said we're not fucking making Austin Powers, and I kind of feel like I feel like they didn't have to go all in serious. Like, you've seen Casino Royale, right?
Yeah, that's like the one James Bond movie I remember seeing.
Yeah, the one with the cock and ball torture.
Yes.
Like, I don't think you really need, you know, I think you could have made a James Bond movie without having to make it gritty, filled with cocks and ball torture.
Right.
You know, but it seems like a bit of an overreaction considering how like Austin, right? Because they were making the Pierce Brosnan movies. Like Austin Powers came out, GoldenEye came out 95, 96, and then Austin Powers came out like the year later. And it's
Right.
like everyone fucking loved GoldenEye. Everyone was hot. I mean, people love that video game
Oh yeah, the game was more famous than the movie.
in a lot of ways. Yeah. And then the other film came out, good hit, and then another James Bond thing. We're talking more Bond than Austin Powers, but so in The World Is Not Enough. Are you familiar with the Real Housewives?
Not really.
Okay, well, the Bond girl in that movie is one of it's one of the real housewives.
What?
She's called Christmas Jones. That's the name of the character. So, and the reason she's called that is, of course, so Bond can make puns about her name, like, I thought Christmas only came once a year, and stuff like that. I've always wanted to have Christmas in Turkey. But yeah, she's played by Denise Richards.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she plays a nuclear physicist. It's funny, right? Because she's like a dumb girl with big boobs.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a nuclear physicist.
Yeah, Denise Richards has like dumb girl face for sure.
She's hot as fuck in that movie.
She is. She's
got big
absolutely
boobs.
hot, but she's
like, I understand
doesn't.
I understand why James Bond wants to fuck her.
Right, but it doesn't. Her as a nuclear physicist is like, stretching it.
Yeah, it's stretching it. You know, that movie also has a little, that's a funny thing about it. But yeah, I mean, people still watch like the Pierce Brosnan movies. They still went strong. Even the one everyone said sucks, Die Another Day. That still made like stupid money at the box office.
Oh yeah, they all were at that point.
Yeah, they were like all still like, I don't think Austin, because I think that movie came out the same year as Goldmember, so I don't think it really hurt the box office. So anyway, let's see. Austin Powers, they're fighting. He stops the thing from going off. He meets Dr. Evil, and Dr. Evil does this, we're not so different, you and I.
Oh yeah.
Speech. Where it's like, and I guess this is like the movie's sort of point where it's like, yeah, free love, but maybe we should wear condoms, and we should we should be sexually liberated but value our sexuality and have it, so the movie has, I guess the movie has a bit of a point, it has a bit of a message, it's about something. It's always nice when it's about something, like you look at something like A Million Ways to Die in the West, which is like supposed to be a parody of Westerns, but it's not really about anything. It just kind of, it sucks. It just sucks. It's a god-awful movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, part of it is because it's not really about anything. But not, like, in a funny way that, like, Seinfeld is about nothing. It's just, everyone's just standing around with their dicks in their hands. So
Right.
It's nice. But, a joke nobody talks about is when number 2 comes in. Do you remember he's got 2 suitcases, and one of them has like parts of like the doll, the robot that got blown up.
Okay.
And he's like, he's taking that with him. He's going to put it back and have sex with her.
Oh, is that?
Yeah. He's taking.
I don't think I ever
home.
caught that.
Yeah. He has the little doll in the suitcase, and he's taking it with him because he's going to have like sex with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, then he sits in a chair and, he dies.
Right, yeah, he just
dies because it's like, wait a minute, running a big multinational corporation is probably better than trying to take over the world. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Scott shows up, but then he fucks off. And then Dr. Evil gets away, I think. Yeah, no. Then
he does.
Yeah.
He gets frozen.
He gets frozen again, but then he comes back like 2 years later.
Yeah.
He's just back.
And then of course, like the final thing in the movie is Random Task, right?
Yeah, Random Task. He comes in and he tosses the shoe at Austin Powers.
Yep.
But
and then Austin fights him with the penis pump.
Yeah, it's funny because he's based off Odd Job, and Odd Job has like a razor hat.
Right, but the shoe is just hits Austin. He's like, who throws a shoe?
Yeah, it's not like a special shoe. It is just a regular shoe.
Right, it's just a fucking shoe.
But this scene is actually a reference to the ending assassin scene from Diamonds Are Forever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the one with the. Did you ever watch as a kid Codename Kids Next Door?
Yeah, I did. I think I remember a good
Yeah.
amount of it too.
Yeah, there was those 2 villains, I think, called like Mr. Blink or something.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Do you remember those guys? Like one of them had like hair that covered his eyes. The other one was like balding.
Vaguely, but I don't know. The villains I remember
Yeah.
from that movie are like the delightful children
Yeah.
and father.
Oh yeah,
and
the big ones. But those characters
Yeah.
are visually based off the gay assassins from Diamonds Are Forever. That's such a weird. When I watched the movie, that's the first thing I noticed. Like, what?
Yeah,
That's
right.
crazy. Diamonds Are Forever is like kind of campy and stupid. Blofeld is played by a guy who was in in that movie. Blofeld, to escape his casino that he runs, he dresses in drag to escape.
That's awesome.
Oh my god! We should have honestly been talking about Diamonds Are Forever, because there's like this scene. It's like really crazy. So they're at a casino and they have like this show. And okay, so they have a black woman get hit by, it's like a stage show where a black woman gets hit by like a magic beam or something, and then she gets replaced by a person in a gorilla suit.
What?
Yeah, they turn a black person into a monkey.
Oh my god.
I know, right? So much crazy weird stuff happens in that movie. It's fantastic. It's so
Which one is this?
Diamonds Are Forever.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
These are like comedies at this point.
Well, the one before it was like kind of dark.
Mm-hmm.
That it's probably the darkest James Bond movie. So it makes sense that they lightened it up for the next one.
Gotcha.
But they probably went too far. But it's like, if you like stupid shit, if you like campy stupid shit happening, you're like, yeah, well, this is kind of what I want. If it doesn't have some
Right.
level of like stupid things happening, what's the point? It's not really Bond. That's where the new ones, they kind of screw up. There's just not enough stupid things to happen. Quantum of Solace is a dumb fucking movie, but like it doesn't know
It's not stupid, yeah.
Yeah, the big plot twist in that movie is you think the bad guys have oil, but what they actually have is water. Because when you think about it, water is more important than oil, because you need water to drink. That movie wouldn't have been good if they wouldn't have originally casted Al Pacino like they wanted to.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he wouldn't have taken like this stupid movie and just like made it actually fun stupid with his like
Right.
He probably would like overact the fuck out of it.
Oh yeah,
Hoo-ha!
probably, but
That wouldn't have been good. So Austin Powers, he defeats random tasks by using the Swedish penis pump, and that's the end of the penis pump, and that's basically the end of the movie. What'd you think about this movie?
all right. Well, this movie, Austin Powers, I still love it. I still think it's a hilarious movie. Definitely one of
I
the
love it.
funniest, probably one of the top like 30-ish comedies for me. Like I think it was perfect for what it was. The jokes all land. Like I can't remember a single joke that doesn't land.
Yeah, that is what I remember. They do a bit where like Dr. Evil makes a joke, and then nobody laughs at his joke. But even that joke that's supposed to be bad is actually kind of good. Like it's actually kind of clever and funny, where he says like, "I wish I had more people of this caliber." He's talking about the machine gun boob lady, and it's like, yeah, that's like a actually clever joke, and that just shows you how actually funny this movie is. I've seen it a gazillion times. I can't tell you how many times I've watched.
Yeah.
The first two. I didn't like the third one as much.
Right.
just
I have to
didn't
rewatch the second one. It's been so long. I could do without the third one.
People say it's not as good, but it's kind of like Fat Bastard, Mini Me. It's
right.
like,
yeah, you love Fat Bastard.
I love Fat Bastard. I love Shrek. I love Fat Bastard. That's basically the same voice for both of them. I'm gonna love him. I love this movie. I've seen it gazillion times. It's a great motion picture. I got a question. Would you say this movie was good enough that you forgive what Random Task did?
Oh my god. Yes, the movie was so good. Nah, I don't know. I don't think it
Like,
was
if
that
you
good.
were his lawyer at his gang rape case,
Yeah,
you
would
be
I
like,
would I s-
Your Honor,
would I say to
no, you say it.
Yeah, go ahead, you can say it. You can say
Your
it.
Honor, I understand my client is a violent psycho rapist, but I mean, Austin Powers, that was a really funny movie, wasn't it? Didn't you do a good job parodying Odd Job? I mean, Random Task. Come on, man. You got to shave some years. Count that as good character, community service.
It sounds like you're doing Bill Clinton.
I can kind of do.
Yeah,
Bill.
Your Honor,
Your Honor.
my client might be a violent rapist, but I mean, come on, Austin
I
Powers.
went on Jeffrey's jet.
Listen, I just want you to return a verdict of not guilty.
Oh, come on, man. You got to do it, man. First thing I'm going to notice is that poor edging on Woody. I got it,
Right.
Oh,
my
you
god.
sound
Well,
best
dude, I have
pal,
to.
Jeffrey.
I have to jet in a little
We
bit.
got a
so,
jet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you think he should continue to be in prison on account if he tried to murder?
Yeah.
a guy in it?
Yeah. Now, if it was like, I don't know, if it was like The Big Lebowski.
Yeah, I should.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, if you saw John Goodman like pull a guy, like come up to your yard, he brings a guy out. He's on his knees, tied up, bag over his head, and he just shoots that fucker in the head, execution style. And then he waves right at you. Would you wave back and be like, "Oh, don't worry, I won't tell."
Fuck. I don't know. Yeah. I would tell on him.
Really, you would?
Yeah.
would tell
if he
on him?
just murdered a guy. Yeah.
Well, maybe that guy sucked.
Well, I mean,
I bet
I'm
that
not
guy
go-
wasn't in
John-
the Big Lebowski.
Yeah, but John Goodman with a gun in his hand, I'm not gonna like go down there and debate whether or not the guy sucked with a man with a gun in his hand.
Yeah, I would let him. I would let John Goodman get away with murder if I
You let him
saw
get
it.
away with. You let
Yeah,
him
he's
get
been
away
in
with
so many
murder.
wonderful movies. Didn't you, as a kid, I loved Monsters Inc. I'd be like, you know what? A guy with a nice voice like that, I'm sure he had a reason.
Yeah, that nice man. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, he's entertained enough people where I kind of
Yeah.
feel like he should get away with one crime.
Right. Anyway, all right.
All right. Well, peace out, man. One
All right,
question.
James. It was great. It was great talking.
It's
to
always
you.
great, but I got one question. And
All
be
right,
honest.
Yeah, one more.
Do I make you horny, baby?